Okay, awesome. All right, yeah. So you'll get that after the right when we're done the lesson. I'll upload it and send it to you. Okay, cool, man. So yeah, what's up? I'm Martin, and you're Hunter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, how's it going? How you doing?
good, good.
Good. Hanging
Yeah,
out.
so, maybe I feel like a good place to start is
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the book, The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, or
Yeah.
like Think and Grow Rich and stuff. And this is something that I've actually known about your website for a while, and
Oh, no way.
yeah, for maybe a couple months, and I've
Oh, cool.
looked at it here and there. But I had this map where I'm a vet from the military, and I have a lot of really great benefits, including like my school being paid for right
Oh,
now,
no shit.
and I have the option to go to this. It's a music school. It's a production school that they teach you like everything in LA. It's called Icon Collective. Some DJs like Slander and Kazo went
Oh,
there,
cool.
and I have that option, but I kind of like broke all that down because I was just on this road
Mm-hmm.
where I was focusing on learning all these things, where now I'm focusing on. I realize that in the music industry, you get paid off the quality and the quantity of the product that you
Yeah.
provide.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and I was in this space before where I wanted to do it for me. I wanted to make music for me, but now I understand that's almost like an independent. There's like
Yeah.
kind of different levels of dependency, independency, and interdependency,
Mm-hmm.
and that was almost like an independent like way of looking at it. Like I'm making it for me. So
Mhm.
now I've really shifted to the interdependent view of I want to make music as a product of quality and quantity, and I want to.
Mhm.
In the book Think and Grow Rich, he talks at one of the chapter 5 is like specialized knowledge, where he talks about the best way to get good at something is to find the person that's best at it and tap into their brains. Like
Yeah.
you talk like Rockefellers and like the Carnegies, they all those guys were under each other and they learned from the
Mhm.
best. So where I want to get to in the music industry is I want to be in a position where I can learn. Like if I had any option of someone that I could spend like endless hours with, it would be either Jay Z, or Drake.
Mm.
So I want to get to a position. Obviously, once you get in the music industry, it's like easier to do that. So I don't know, but that's just I'm willing to. I have all the time in the world, all the work ethic in the world. I just kind of like need the specialized knowledge.
Yeah,
to get
yeah. You just gotta put it into practice now. I think is like what you're saying. But yeah, man. Well, yeah. That all. That sounds fascinating. I mean, you're talking like. I mean, I've never had an interview with Drake or Jay-Z, but you're talking as if you're talking it as like I imagine they would, if you got a chance to sit down with them and really get to pick their brain about this stuff, like you're talking about it like a veteran of the industry kind of, because actually it's really funny that you're saying that kind of thing now, the independent and interdependent and making music for other people, because actually that's something that I literally like the realization I just came to. Well, I don't know if I will call it a realization so much as it's something that I'm now appreciate, and that I don't, because I used to see it as like not like selling out, but just that you weren't like being true to yourself or whatever. But now I just realized, because I read this interview. Yeah, I read this interview with Kanye, and he was like, it was about Yeezus. The album, because I'm writing a book about it now, actually, for this podcast. And he was saying, it was this really awesome quote. I can send it to you quick, because actually he's saying exactly what you are. And the quote was so awesome, I actually tweeted it right out when I saw it. He said, "If you don't make Christmas presents, don't talk to me." And it was like the greatest, it was the most awesome encapsulation of it. Here it is. And I text stuff during these lessons on the side here, just so you can go back and look at them later. But I thought it was the best thing because, it's a really succinct encapsulation of what this, like, interdependent thing, he says, if you don't make Christmas presents, meaning making something that's emotionally connected to people, don't talk to me. And I feel, it's kind of funny that he says that about Yeezus, because Yeezus is a super experimental album, but no, I really hear what you're saying. So yeah, so how can I help you do that then, I guess, right? Yeah, because it's something that I think a lot of people just starting out don't appreciate, that by publicizing your work and making music for other people, you can actually hone and sharpen your focus and get better. Because a lot of people, you know, especially people who've been in it for a while, they're like, oh, like, I don't like how much everything is about image now, or branding, or the clothes you wear. When really, those things are just there to give your artistry a 360-degree view. So I love helping people translate their vision into their fashion, into the clothes they wear, into their music video shots, because then it's like then you have an understanding of what you're doing. You know, otherwise you're kind of just throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks. And don't get me wrong, you know, that works. That has ended up as entire careers for people. But if you really want to make it last, then you can't
be a little bit more calculated.
Yeah, because do you know Kanye's stuff at all? Do you know his projects?
Not really. Like,
okay.
If he has some if a song with some great wordplay or something that I want to hold on to, I'll take a closer look.
Yeah, but not overall.
Whole works. Yeah. I haven't looked at his whole works.
Okay, no, just because I just so I have a reference point. But he talks about. I saw this interview. There's this song called "Father Stretch My Hands" Part 2, and it's not even like a sample. You know, sampling. It's a Kanye song. And, you know, a sample is when you take a small part of another song and put it in a new song. This is like a remix, and he doesn't even call it a remix, because what he did was he took these, the rap by this rapper Designer, who you might have heard of. Yeah, it was from a song Panda. It was called Panda, which is why Designer says Panda, Panda, Panda over. But that's not the name of the Kanye song. But the original beat maker for Panda, gave this interview where he talks about hearing his songs rap by Designer on a Kanye West track. And he's sort of just like, what the hell, man? He's like, what the hell? Like, that was my song. Designer made the rap for it. Then Kanye West really made it famous. Kanye barely even raps on Father Stretch My Hands Part 2. And so he talks about this. He's like, well, I just didn't know anything about the music industry. You know, I didn't know about royalties. I didn't know about beats. And so it kind of just goes to show that, like, you need to be in it for the long haul, or otherwise, not that you get taken advantage of, but just you're on the side of the road. You're on the side of the road and things are passing you by. You know, and so, obviously, you know, I'm fucking Martin Connor, and here I am in my goddamn room with my bed right behind me, my one-room apartment. So, like, I'm not a fucking, you know, mogul. But I can really help you think about all this stuff and put it into a 360-degree view, because everyone I talk to and everyone I've helped with this, you know, it's sort of just like the nitrous, I guess. You know, it's kind of like sharpening your focus and what you want to do into that thing. And so how I usually like to start these off is just with a to learn more about kind of where you are, you know, because I don't want to sit here and turn you into the rapper that I want you to be, or the kind of rapper that I am, or, you know, because I really, when I look at my songs and my artistry, it's shit. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's deep, man. You know, you might imagine, you've read my articles, you've seen my videos, so, like, you think I'm just gonna fucking show up and make, like, a 2-minute popcorn candy, I don't know, like, fucking Drake hit or something, you know, not, I know Drake is deeper than that.
I know what you're saying.
So for me, it's almost like but because I understand my artistry, I know that it's, I'm not going to be able to appeal to everyone like a Drake. You know, I'm probably looking more at like a niche kind of status. Even like my ceiling might be Mos Def. You know, Mos Def isn't on fucking MTV anymore. He's world famous and he gets props, but he's like, you know, the golden age standard bearer now. He's like the New York rapper. The flow guys, the flow heads, the lyrics heads, I guess, is the best way to put it. So who do you like to listen to? Like Drake and Jay-Z, are you telling me they're your guys?
As far as like the space, like I have love for everyone. But as far as like the space that like of creating music and like if that makes sense, I most relate to like Jay and Drake, and I really study their mannerisms and everything. And I think that as far as like learning from someone, those are my preferred methods. But
Okay, cool.
As far as listening, I think that I like a lot. I like a lot. Drake's probably my favorite to listen to. I even reach out to things like Fabulous, like Andre 3000.
No shit. Yeah.
I like to pull from everywhere. Like, what are they doing? Like,
so you go, okay, you go deep. And this is something Kanye West is really good at because, and that's, a lot of people complain that like Kanye doesn't produce his own songs anymore, or he's got collaborators. Like one of the Yeezus songs, "Send It Up," there are 13 fucking writers on there, including him. But he does exactly what you're saying. He's like, oh, new classical music, it's only using the voice. Well, I can't do that, so let me just put the composer who made that piece on a Life of Pablo track. He's like, oh, I love that Metro Boomin trap sound, but I don't have the samples right now. Why don't I just get Metro to make Father Stretch My Hands Part 2? He does all that, so he's really good at it. So I guess when I think of Drake and Jay-Z, it's good to know if they're your guys because it is... And you really don't learn this until you actually sit down and try to fucking figure it out and do it. But it is really goddamn hard to appeal to billions of people simultaneously, right? To make one song that everyone will like. You think that there are a lot of topics you can talk about, but really, there are less topics. You can't talk about topics. You can't get super political. You can't get like super religious. You can't get super patriotic or not patriotic. You can't get super American. And
or spiritual or like deep or anything. And I take it so deep, and I travel like. Especially like I spend most of like up to now I've spent most of my time freestyling just to explore like how far I can like push things. And I find that it gets so deep that it's like, and I know that, but I just push it just to find it. And just to like develop that. Yeah.
And so it's like, I guess there are a couple things here. There are a couple, I think of them as like, I guess they're technically heuristics. So like they're guides, right? I guess they're guides. But I kind of think of them as more as things that help you slice the problem. They help you, because right now you and me, we're sitting at our computers and like say like we're about to create art right now, essentially, right? But what we've got is a fucking blank page. And a blank page helps absolutely no one. So we want to see what like the edges of that blank page look like. We want to see how we can fold it. Because it's not, when you sit down to write a song, it's super unhelpful and the wrong way to go about it to just be like, well, I could do anything. And that's not really true. You got to have these things that will help you slice a problem to help you realize which decision paths you can go down will be the most fruitful and the most productive, right? So there are a couple of things I want to talk about, especially with Drake and Jay-Z. And Jay-Z was like the master of this because the reason Jay-Z is still famous at 50, if I could be so bold, and maybe I won't publicize this part of the video later, but like, I don't know, man. He hasn't really come out with an album that's changed the game in forever. All of his most amazing artistic innovations are on the business side. It's Tidal. It's releasing his album through Samsung. It's how 444 dropped. Tidal is his streaming service. And so what makes Jay-Z's career is that he is like a capitalist innovator. He just thinks ahead of the curve, and it might sound like I'm just telling you to be a good businessman, but what he does is he actually puts this into his music because it's like he's figured out how to craft his songs in such a way that they're given to the most consumption, which is the most listens, the most buys, the most stuff like that. And so one of these things, God, and I can't find the fucking name of it, but I think they call it Tricks. Hold on, let me Jay-Z Tricks, and I think it's on Rap Genius. So let me see if I can and they're Rap Genius. God, 5 tips. No, but it was like I think the word is Tricks, and I can't find the article right now. But what Jay-Z does is he puts these little moments, and these moments are the tricks. A trick is a moment in a song that you and all of your friends will be repeating to each other the next day. you know, because this works really well with how we listen to our music today, because it's all just playlists. It's all just one hit. It's all just singles. It's all just singles. This is what I mean, right? So, like, people don't release albums anymore. So it's almost like, I mean, Justin Bieber released the Sorry album, but everything around Sorry was just like, not filler, but as good as the other songs were, you knew that Sorry is the defining dominant track of it, right?
Yeah.
And so what you do is you put these little moments into your rap. And, like, yeah, you should make the whole thing good, but then you kind of got to give it just this really distilled, hard, solid moment. And so, you know, Jay-Z does this a lot, but the example I've got on my mind right now is the slow jams. Is Kanye's slow jams, right? So this is something you might go back and listen to later. Kanye West, slow jams. You know, and so... It comes, so this one is from 2004, and it's College Dropout, and it is, where is it? Slow Jams.
We get out with, I'ma bring grab it, calling me Biggie like Shine Home, man.
Sorry, hold on, let me find it real quick.
Check it out, this was
You know this song?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me skip to the line real quick then. Okay, awesome. Skip ahead.
Calling me ready for some and got a dog when she know they rise. Got a light skin
right here.
Friend, look like Michael Jackson. Got a dark skin friend, look like Michael Jackson.
Right. So it's like, that's like a trick. You know, it's like that one moment where you focus the entire song's message into just 2 lines, and you switch it up in such a way that you know everyone is going to remember it. You know, and so Drake is like really good at this. I mean, how many people were saying The Motto, right? You know that song, The Motto?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like what is it? YOLO, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, at what point is YOLO an advertising slogan for Drake's music? And at what point is YOLO a rap lyric? You know, there's really no boundary between the two. Right?
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, it was just like it was just like this absolutely perfect. I mean, it's fucking, you know, what's McDonald's tagline? I'm loving it. It's the I'm loving it of Drake, right? It's like you hear it anywhere, and you're just like, boom, Drake, Lil Wayne, you know, The Motto, because, and it's like, this is what he's good at. You know, they're good at crafting these little. I guess they're like, you can think of them as like viral bugs. They're bugs that get into the system and then they replicate themselves because everyone wants to say it so that they're cool. So I'm not saying that Drake, like the first idea he had on the track was YOLO. I wouldn't be surprised if it was true. But it was like, you gotta write in such a way that you come up with these kind of things naturally, right? You always gotta think like an advertiser, I guess, is sort of like the slice. The problem slicer I would give you on that one. Because rappers are really good at putting really complex issues and distilling them to their essence in a single image where you don't even need to fucking hear the song if you hear the title. Obviously, hearing a good title will make you want to hear the song, but it's like the title is the entire message. So you know Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, definitely. He's one of my favorites too, for sure.
Oh, really? Okay. So you've heard the song.
Don't come from like the same space as him.
Yeah. Of course not. But everyone can learn from him, you know. And
yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah. And so, do you know the song "How Much a Dollar Cost"?
What album is that on?
To Pimp a Butterfly. It's one of the later tracks.
I've probably heard it, but
yeah. Okay. Well, this is what I love about that song. Is let's just assume, you know, you're not sure if you've heard it, so let's just assume you haven't heard it. If you had to guess, what do you think the song called "How Much a Dollar Cost" is about?
Probably knowing him, I think it's a concept about. He said this line one time.
Yeah.
I think it was "Look Out for Detox." He said discounts never did amount, and it's just like this concept of Wait, what's the title of the song again?
How Much a Dollar Cost.
Oh, so for that one,
Yeah, yeah. Just real broad. I'm not asking you to get specific, but like the theme. How much a dollar cost? You know, what do you
like
think it's about?
like the trade off of whatever energy you pay for the dollar.
Exactly, exactly. And it's like, dog, you could distill that. How many is it? One, two, three, four, five. You could distill that 5 words, that 5 word title, even more into two. Dollars cost, and that's all. That's all. You know, because that's the
Simplicity.
what's that?
Simplicity.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like, but he distilled this really complex topic. The fact, you know, what is it in the Bible? What does it? But what does it gain a man to? No. What does it profit a man to gain the world but lose his soul? You know, like Jesus was talking about this shit, man. So that's how you know it was deep. Okay, and
Yeah.
but you could distill it even more because it's a 5 words now. I'll give it to you in two. Yeah, dollars cost, right? And so this is what Kendrick Lamar is really good at. So if you go back and if I were you, you know, I can give you some more songs to listen to. So obviously that one, How Much a Dollar Cost, by Kendrick, but also by Kendrick is King Kunta. But that whole album is full of just great images. This For Sale interlude is another good one. But about how much a dollar cost, right? I mean, an extremely complex topic that people have been talking about for thousands and thousands of years. The trade-off between working for money and what it does to you. He distills into essentially 2 words, right? And so, yeah, so that whole song is about he runs into a homeless man. The homeless man is begging him for money. The homeless man turns out to be Jesus. Because, you know, Jesus, what's the line? He said, even when you help the least, when you fed the hungry and when you clothed the naked, you were helping me, paraphrasing, you know. But like you and I, we didn't even have to listen to the song. We got the message. King Kunta is all about yams, right? He talks about who's got the yams, and the yams in West African society represent power. Like the more yams a man could plant and farm and harvest in a single year, the more powerful he was. But, you know, the chorus of the song is sort of like, who's got the yams? Who's got the power? You know, is it Kendrick as a rapper? Is it the people who run his record labels? Is it the audiences since they buy the music? So, and again, these aren't just business considerations, you know, these aren't just financial considerations, because these rappers are good at putting it into their music. And this is one of the reasons that rap dominates the global scene today. It's not just that rap is better music, it's not just that millennials happen to like rap more than rock, it's that rappers are better businessmen than rock. You know, Beatles got taken for a ride on their opening contract. EMI owns their rights now. That never would have fucking happened to a rapper, because he would have insisted on reading the original Apple contract and going line by line and asking what everything meant. So Drake, okay, we did the motto. So then, you know, so it comes down to, if I already gave you one slice, another good one is think like an advertiser, and I'm just writing these down now. Another one is see it visually. You know, it's like be able to point at the thing. And I mean like actual physical objects, you know, because like how much a dollar cost? Boom, dollar. We can both look at a fucking dollar. A yam. We've both seen what a yam looks like before, you know? So think visually and think in terms of messages and objects, because this will really help you. But then obviously, okay, that's like when you've practiced, right? Kind of at coming up with these. So really we gotta like build up to this. So if I were you, you know, a good exercise, and I kind of like to give this homework out, small homework things out to do for fun, but it was like how about this one? Pick 5 objects, 5 meaningful objects, let's say, preferably that aren't cliche, but I mean, we're just starting out kinda, so it doesn't really matter. And plus, you know, if you can make a cliche object profound, then it hits home even harder, right? But then imbue them with meaning, is what I would say. You know, and so it could be anything, right? Fruit, I mean, fruit, you know, that's a way back symbol. It's an ancient symbol ever since the Adam and Eve story. You know, it could be a pen. Rappers talk about the pen all the time. I mean, the microphone is just a fucking symbol like this waiting to happen. You know, what, God, what's the, microphone? What does, Rakim say about the microphone? Like, and when it's done, I'll leave it smoking and broke, or whatever on I Ain't No Joke. So yeah, so that's a good, homework exercise. Would you be down for something like that?
Absolutely, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Anything to get better.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. And that would be a good way. And then you could even write the song in this chronological order, you know, because you pick an object and then it suggests a story. So let's just say we're working with fruit, you know, and then obviously it lends to what? Being eaten, being bought, whatever. Or think of like an umbrella, right? The obvious thing is that an umbrella protects you from rain, and the obvious symbol is that rainy days, literally, proverbially, are the hard times in life. So when there's that Chris Brown, I think it's Chris Brown and Rihanna song, Umbrella, Brella, Ella, A. Do you remember that one? Yeah, exactly. Well, like, again, this is what I'm fucking talking about. It taps into what people are already doing and talking about, and it's a visual symbol that you can look at and point to and learn from, right? So that's a good place to start. So then, okay, so I think that's a pretty good wrap. We can come back to them, pretty cool, or, later on if we want. So how about, like, so far then? Have you recorded any songs or written anything, or where are you at, like, specifically?
I've have, in my closet, I have, like, 2 of those yellow notepads that aren't spiral. They're just, like...
legal pads, yeah.
And put instrumentals on. I would just write line after line, no form, just for the hours and time doing it. Cool. So I did that, and then I have, like, a spiral notebook. And then I also have read, like, I consume so many books. I've read some lyrical stuff by Pat Pattinson, who he teaches at Berkeley. He taught John Mayer. And I do in the mornings. I do something called object writing to focus. It focuses on your 5 senses plus your kinesthetic sense, which is like your inner organs and that's your outer
touch,
relationship to like me, and the TV's right there.
Yeah.
And then your organic sense, which is like your inner, like your heart or your liver, like stuff. And then I freestyle a lot. I've spent a lot of time freestyling, especially in the car. It's just easy, just for whatever comes. And just when you are just absolutely doing so horrible and you're like, wow, this is horrible, you just keep saying things until you find patterns that work, and you find things that work. And I think how I view all the writing and the freestyling and music in general is that each hour that you're on the path of actually being there, not saying that you're there, being halfway there, but each hour that you're there, I think that there's little presence from somewhere that are gifted to you.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's kind of view that. I have a mic stand, an interface, a MIDI with like a full drum pads on it. I fucked around with like beat making and stuff when I wasn't really specific in saying, okay, this is where I really am gonna take this, and it's kind of like trying to get a grasp on what I wanted to do as far as hands-on and what I didn't want to do. I've probably have like over the last 2 weeks, I probably have like 200 freestyles recorded where it just instrumentals pulled and then just put it on and just says go, and then the next. And then I also have written some, or I've recorded some written stuff. So yeah.
Okay, cool. God damn. Okay, so that's a lot of material. All right, yeah, I'm just trying to think how I could help you best. Okay, cool. So why don't you, could you like send me a song, maybe your favorite song, or like, do you want to do like a freestyle for me now, or what are you thinking?
I have lyrics wrote, but I can't play the background to it.
Okay. Do you have like a recorded song
that I could show you?
Yeah, that you could send to me. Yeah.
I can just, what do you call it? Save it out of Ableton and send it to you.
Yeah. Do you want to do that actually? Just so we have something more specific to work with. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Just take your time then, and you can send it over Skype actually, or just Gmail it to me.
Cool. Brain fart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess getting to the point where I'm doing these XYZ things and I have X whatever hours because the hour
Mhm.
I am conscious of like the 10,000 hour
Oh yeah,
rule.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it doesn't matter because you just do it as much as you possibly can, and
Mhm.
the hours are irrelevant. So those things are there. So like I have that capability to just produce words and
Oh, cool.
and constructs to sound good. And then taking that into okay, how do I narrow that down into this how music that's gonna sell and it's gonna market itself, like what are the so I kind of like to look at life as like it's in the area of music or in like profession, especially like what are the results that I want, and break it down into okay, what things are gonna get me these results, and what are the short, mid, and long term goals to get there. And I right now is just like I'm looking for a plan that gets me to those results to getting a really nice revenue and to working with people to like some of the best rappers in the industry.
Yeah.
So what I just want to develop this a plan to get me those results, and whatever needs to be tweaked or altered or whatever works or doesn't, just keep persistently moving on with it. And I think that yeah. So that
Okay, cool. So are you asking my advice on how to do that, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah. All right. I can help you with that. My first question is, how old are you?
22.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. You're okay because you're well, not a lot younger than me, but I'm 28. So if you were 22, you were born what? 96?
95.
95? Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, this actually means that you kind of have, well, from my point of view, a huge advantage over people born even 5 years before you, like me, because I was 90. Because could you remember a time in your life before the internet? Like before the internet was everywhere?
Nah.
Exactly. And so this is your advantage because it's really just think of it like this. Like anyone in power nowadays, the youngest they are, and I mean power as like political power, president, senator, state representative. Yeah, I mean musical power like head of a label. I mean cultural power like talk show hosts like Oprah, Martha Stewart. Throw Donald Trump in there. All of them. Well, all those people are at least 50. All of them are at least 50. And dog, that is, you have not even been alive half their life. I've barely been alive half their life. So imagine that you are Donald Trump. I think he's 68. So what does that make him? That makes him 19. That can't be right. 1950? Yeah, 1950, right? Okay. So the internet wasn't even like a thing in 1950. Then the internet got made in the 1960s. Then the internet was everywhere in the 1990s. So Donald Trump was like 40 when he sent his first email. And what this means is that the people who are currently in positions of power, like the music industry, they are going to constantly underestimate the abilities of the internet because they just can't do it. They just can't do it because they remember times before the internet. So the problem they do, the mistake they make is that they think that the internet is a place and that sometimes you are on the internet and sometimes you're off the internet. When really, we are all always on the internet. And even to put it like that isn't true. The internet is just the world now. And this matters to you because you and me, because the internet will always be, from now on, the best way to get an audience. And I'll explain more specifically what I mean, because that might just seem to be like a super obvious realization, but it's kind of not what I mean at all. I don't mean it like in the super obvious way. And so, because right now it's 2018, And if you think back, even like 13 years, the game is completely different. Like the ground of how to get popular, how to get a fan base, even if it's writing, music, acting, whatever, it's completely different now. You know, you have YouTube channel people who they want an acting job. They didn't fucking go to Hollywood. They just recorded tons of YouTube channels. You know, they wanted to be a rapper. They didn't move to New York like you used to have to. They just released music on SoundCloud. And so this is important because the ground is shifting under our feet every day. It means that everything is up for grabs right now. But in about probably 5 or 10 years, the ground will stop shifting. And all of a sudden, the old powers, you know, legacy media, the movie houses, publishing houses, movie studios, recording studios, they'll figure the internet out, you know. And then all of a sudden, like you and me, like net neutrality won't be a thing anymore, you know, and you'll have to pay money and stuff like that. So I'm telling you this because I think the best way to get to that area of working with rappers now is just getting like a giant fucking audience. But what this means is that you don't focus on money, which, you know, it kind of sounds like you might be able to do if you're having your tuition paid for and things like that through the GI Bill or whatever. But I would focus on these things, right? And one of the advice that this fairly popular rapper out of Atlanta told me, his name's Shaw, is to focus on one platform. So you know, like be on Instagram, be on Twitter, be on SoundCloud, be on YouTube, but focus on one and learn what that, I guess the better term is social media. Learn what that specific social media website is for. Because, like, Instagram is obviously, like, visual stuff. You know, photo, boom, right? You wouldn't run your Instagram account like your Twitter account, right? So, you know, Twitter, it's like being more near. It's kind of more for writers, for connecting with people that you wouldn't be otherwise, because you don't want to give out your phone number. That's too personal or whatever. You know, YouTube is a little bit like you're 22, and the thing I still cannot even wrap my fucking mind around, and remember, I was born just 5 years before you, is that eventually, like, cable boxes won't be a thing. No one will pay for cable anymore. It just doesn't make sense. Like, when you have Netflix, when you can view, dude, I found a website that streamed every episode of an HBO show for free. And HBO is like the #1 name in trying to prevent bootlegging, right? You know, The Wire, Game of Thrones. So it's like, that's how, if I were you, that's how I would look at it. Is like, get an audience. Your audience will be young. And because you're young, you know how the internet works. And it sounds stupid, but it's like when old people hear of something going viral, they think of it as just like, another thing went viral. Like, it doesn't mean anything. People just watched it for 5 seconds and dropped. But because they don't appreciate that there are about 50 different media platforms nowadays fighting for your attention. So any allocation of a person's attention is worth, like, millions of dollars. You know? Yeah. And so this is what I'm trying to tell you. Because, like check out SoundCloud, right? There's this really good article in the New York Times, The Sound of SoundCloud, and it gets a little bit at how these kind of things work. It's all about how SoundCloud is actually home to a really specific type of culture and a really specific type of music. And it's really like the I don't want to call it emo music because that term's a little too broad. But I mean, it's really home to like this emo music of like Lil Peep, Lil Uzi Vert, which is how those dudes can blow up mostly outside of, and I know Lil Uzi Vert got the bump of a 360 deal with Canon and stuff like that, but it gets back to the importance of understanding the websites you're on and what other kind of people are there. You know, so like think about Reddit, right? Like Reddit now is sort of kind of like this ultra, not conservative, a young conservative audience, right? You know, you have Reddit Donald Trump putting things on the front page all the time. Sorry, and that's one of the articles, but it's not the main article I want. The rowdy world of rap's new underground. This is what I mean. So it's not just that like any music can go on SoundCloud, but it's like these artists, whether they knew it or not, studied their platform. I just sent it to you again. They learned about it, and then they just tapped into what people already liked about it and what people already did. So this is kind of, I think, how I'm starting to think about it in any event. Let me put it like that, right? Because it used to be focused on money, obviously because you need money and it made you look better, made you look professional. But now if you have an audience of 1 million people, that money doesn't really matter, you know, because you have 1 million fucking people and everyone will pay you for that. You know what I'm saying at all? You got any questions?
So you think the fan base is like now is probably going to be one of the most important focuses?
Yeah, exactly. And so to give you another, yeah, and it sounds. Sorry, hold on. Yeah. Why? What's wrong? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of something. Hey, sorry, man. I'm at home. It's my spring break. Little embarrassing. No, but the what is it? Where was I? Shit. What was I talking about, dog? Oh, fan base. Right. Okay. It's about the fan base, right? And I know that sounds like super obvious, but I think it's a little. People aren't tacking hard enough in that direction. You know, that it really doesn't matter what kind of music you make. It doesn't matter where you release it. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter who you are, what your style is, how long you've been doing it, how old you are. You just need a fan base. You just need a fan base, and it's got to be big, and it's got to be substantial, and you put off trying to make steady money off it for as long as possible. You get your full-time job and bills money from another job. You don't sell your stuff because you don't want it behind a paywall because everyone under 15 will never pay for anything. And it's like, yeah, that's all. That's probably a good way of putting it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I have the capability to like not work and to
okay,
just
awesome.
do
music. Yeah, and just before I forget, sorry to cut you off, but there's another thing is like you can experiment with this, right? Because you're just starting out, and again, this is some advice from that poppin' Atlanta rapper, but it was like start out. What did he tell me? He told me to start out anonymous. Just start out anonymous. Like, don't make when you release music on, let's say you pick SoundCloud, don't make your rap name like Hunter Leon. Make it whatever. Just come up with a name. Maybe you already got one. But Hunter Gallus, is that your last name?
Leon is. I'm changing it to Leon.
Okay, cool. So let's just say like you pick the name like Lion. Yeah. To do, but then what you do is because you're anonymous, you experiment with a sound to see what gets the most views, and you don't like. You don't do the fucking. I hate when people do this when they put it on Facebook and they're like, oh, please like and please like friends and family, and then they tag 1 million people. Like, dog, when we became friends, the agreement was not like, hey, man, if I start a rap career, you got my back, right? Even if every single person you know in your life became a huge Hunter Leon fan, that still wouldn't be crud or crap compared to the number of people on SoundCloud right now, right? And so it's like, just put it out on SoundCloud, experiment with the sound, pay for their premium. I think you can do something where it gets put on their front page or whatever and see what gets the most views. Experiment with your sound. Don't let it connect. Do it anonymously. Because you even see famous authors and famous musicians wishing for creativity sometimes, because who's the Harry Potter author? J.K. Rowling? When she released her first post-Harry Potter book, she did it under a pseudonym. Because she wanted it to get a fair shake and for people not just to laud it because it was her. Because it was her. And so even, even Flying Lotus, Flying Lotus was the anonymous name of Charlie Murphy, that's Eddie Murphy's brother, Captain Murphy. Captain Murphy, right? You know, and so, but he needed a different space. He needed an anonymity to be able to experiment to find a sound that people would like. You know, and so this is sort of like the advantages. I'm a real big fan, you know, since you read a lot. You ever read that book, the Malcolm Gladwell book called
Tipping Point?
Yes, but then the other one about disadvantages. What the fuck is that? What's it called?
Outliers?
Yeah, exactly. About how disadvantages are really advantages. You know, he talks about the David Goliath fight and how David, like, Goliath was like 2 feet taller than him, but David was quicker and smaller. And, you know, you see it in guerrilla wars all the time that the indigenous force doesn't have a military, but they know the terrain, and that's the advantage that they have, right? Or, so I would just think about how your supposed, quote unquote, disadvantages are really advantages. And one of those, I think, is your current actual anonymity. Because I'm actually probably going to do this too, because I've got an album kind of waiting that I was going to release, but I think I'm actually going to do pretty much exactly what I'm telling you now over the next few months. So we could even meet and compare notes about what's working. But so that's one of them. Another one is, I don't make money from my music. Well, that's good, man, because then no one will ever, click on the iTunes link, see the 99¢, and then just fuck off, because they're like, what, fuck this, I'm not paying. You know how many times, I've done it so many times, you find someone, a rapper who's sort of got it popping, who's sort of got it going, and then they ask for $10 to listen to anything on iTunes, and you're just like, no. And it's not because they're not good, it's not because you don't like them, it's just because we don't pay for music anymore, man. You know, like between free Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, online, or even TV channels that now just play music, you know, the Christmas TV channel music, that bone has just been like obliterated from people's bodies. So now you kind of got to run hard in the other direction and be like, well, why should I fight the tide? Why don't I just tap into it and release it like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely feel you.
Okay, cool. So then, okay, I think I've given you a pretty good blueprint for the business stuff. So I do want to get into more like rap specific stuff then, if that's cool. Just to hear like you actually going on now and rapping, you know, to get into like the actual craft of it. So did you want to like freestyle, or did you want to send me a song, or what did you want to do?
I can do you want me to do both?
Yeah, that'll be tight.
Okay, so usually when I freestyle, it takes me a while to get warmed up, and I don't know it's gonna come out. So
okay,
and it all is really freestyle. So
okay, cool. Well, here, you know. Actually, let me tell you this, yo. The top 10. Sorry, hold on. I want to prove a point about freestyling. Top 10 most highly rated of TV events of what is it of 2017? Hold on. Because if you can actually fucking freestyle. No, I want Bull, CBS, The Walking Dead, This Is Us, America's Got Talent, This Is Us, NCIS, Young Sheldon, The Good Doctor, Sunday Night Football. Okay. The fact, if you can actually freestyle, that will be, like you're saying, like coming up with it on the top, off the top, is that's a huge advantage for you. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about understanding kind of like the media sphere. Because what is it when you're freestyling? You're coming up with rap live. And I'll say 99% of other rappers can't do that. But if you check out the link I just sent you, the number one, could you guess what like the number one most highest rated TV show of 2017 was? TV event. Let me say TV event of 2017 was?
Something to do with Trump?
No, actually, it's the Sunday Night Football broadcast, which had 18.5 million viewers. And you know why that is? It's because it's live. It's because it's live and it's different every fucking time, and you know that literally anything could happen. It's like watching a guy walk a tightrope, right? Like, oh my god, their QB might have, like, his head exploded on a sack from Khalil Mack or something like that. Do you like sports? You like sports?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason like ESPN bought up live sports events like it was their fucking job, well, because it was their fucking job, but also because those events are highly rated. And they're highly rated because they're exciting, and they're exciting because they're live. And so you're freestyling. This is what I'm saying. I would make freestyling a centerpiece of your public persona. Like when you do interviews, because that's kind of what you got to do to get your name out there with blogs, do podcasts. Only do podcasts, and freestyle. Like the first chance you get, freestyle. Like when they're like, here and welcome to the show, Hunter Leon. Start freestyling. Because it's so cool and people are so amazed by anything remotely musical. Not that freestyle is remotely musical, it's very musical. But they will be amazed because it's live, And again, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about like understanding your craft and making it fit into what other people are already doing. You got what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So then well we got a few more minutes, so why don't you set it off and we can just go over it.
Cool. Can you hear this?
A little bit, turn it up a little bit. A little bit more. There it is. There it is.
Chillin' at the crib, man, motherfucker. Put a bib on your lady's chest, cause I only unload these bullets. Never wear a vest, man. I came from the Minnesota land, working on my brand. I can withstand any of that fuck shit you talking, cause I don't give a fuck. Never flaking on my luck, only on the road. And she down to fuck like a young buck. Money coming and shoving, I'm always loving. No. Alright. Swerving in this Rari, man, I got my vision clear, and I'm only steering with veneer on this weird, in my mind, and it's coming close to cutting the cut. Come on, baby girl, I think way too much. I need some more love from you. Give me a little bit of the marijuana. We could see what we wanna do later on. I'm always thinking about the tropics, but fuck that shit. On the real, I'm a workaholic. I can't do nothing but think about the money I wanna reel in, and I cannot buy nothing but real friends. Y'all motherfuckers just sit fake up on that fence, faking everything in the world, man. Y'all can talk it. I'ma sit here and walk it. I don't got no plotting besides these options. Da. Chilling on a fucking Saturday morning or evening, depending on where you are. Always creeping up in my mind is the dark, shining light where I can. I'm looking like Clark with my Batman cap on. I mean cape. I just rock my drapes. On a Sunday, I be playing with the pussy, cause I can't get it out this mind. Man, I'm a tiger out of fucking time. Audemars on my wrist, guess I'm out of time. Look at your psychological mind. You could probably get out of it unless you wanna find that the light was in my veins. I'm telling you, it made me insane.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yo, damn. That was really freestyle?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's tight. And this is what I mean, dog. This is like, that'll be perfect. That'll be gold to like event programmers and promoters and shit. So I mean, like the rap, it's a freestyle, right? So we kind of judge it differently from like a verse, right? And so obviously, like the parts that could be tighter. So I'm not really interested in saying like, oh well, you dropped.
Yep.
At that point.
But some kids are like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then they're like,
yeah, exactly. So if I were you, I would just talk about giving the freestyle some structure. And yeah, but not in the sense of like, oh, you need a chorus. Or in the sense of like, well, don't drop the beat there. Because obviously, like I said, A, those things are obvious, and B, it's a freestyle, so we judge it differently than a verse, On a freestyle, I'm really not looking for crazy rhyme schemes. I'm not looking for a killer hook. I'm looking for interesting flows and rhythms, which obviously, you've got, because the freestyle, the sentences end everywhere in the bar, and you can drag it across the beat, and it's got that looser feel, and it should have that looser feel, is what I'm saying. So when I talk about the structure of a freestyle, I mean something else, And so let's just start with this. Like, you need to make it super obvious to your audience when you're freestyling that you are freestyling. And you do that by referencing things that both of us are looking at. You know, you do it by things like referencing, like, like today's April 7th, right? So what would you do? You create a rhyme on 7. You know, you rhyme 7 with heaven, or 7 with 11, or whatever you want to do. Because then people will know, you know, like, oh, damn, you know, he couldn't have just sat down 3 weeks ago and come up with that. Like, what, he's got a line in the bank for every fucking day of the month? Like, no, then we would know. You know, you reference my name. You rhyme on Martin Connor. You reference what you're doing, how you're doing a rap lesson, you know? And so then, you know, let's just say when you're doing eventually these podcast interviews, then you include the names of the hosts, you know, you include the names of the show. And then people will really be like, oh my God, he's freestyling. You know, and so some good ones of this are like Black Thought. Have you seen the Black Thought? Nah, it's a super early one. I know one came up, but I want an older. Yeah, this one. It's cool because it's just Questlove pointing at shit. I think they're just walking around Philly. Questlove is pointing at shit, and then Black Thought is rapping about it. And so this is like a really good point of how you know that the freestyle is freestyle, right? And so besides that, you know, so just when I say a real general structure, I also mean like just real broad strokes. Intro, body, outro. Because it's like, intro, you know, you want to imagine that it's a song, not, quote unquote, just a freestyle. So what do people do with the intro? You know, they do a little few ad-libs. They're like, yeah, they might even do a rhyming ad-lib like Jean Grey does all the time. You know, and so you want to sort of set it. Because what we're looking for is like a pacing to the freestyle, right? We want calm, and then exciting, and then calm again. And then even like when you drop the flow at the end, like when you're like da 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 da, and then you actually kept going. You picked it back up. But like, dog, like that was the freestyle, homie. Like that was it. You told yourself. You were talking to yourself subconsciously, like, okay, man, well, I did it. I killed it. That's enough. You know, and so it's just like then you turn those moments into being purposeful. Because once you pick it back up, it's obvious that when you go like da-da-da-da is a mistake. But if you just repeat that da-da-da-da, yeah, motherfuckers, then it's like, shit, I don't care. I'm so good, I don't even need to put words to my rhythms, you know? And so, like, this is the structure I'm talking about, to give it, like, a shape. That's what I mean. Because right now, it's obvious that you've got the body, but it's like we want a shape to it. You know, we want the corners rounded off. We want to see angles. We want to see, like, journeys. We want to see, like, oh, he could have gone left there, but he swerved right. You know, and that's really what I'm talking about. You know, just giving the freestyle a shape. So that'll be really dope. So if you want to make that another little homework thing, is just point your freestyles in a more specific direction, is how I would put it. So I'll write this down. Point your freestyles in a more specific direction, because this will make it clear that that you're freestyling, and it'll make people feel more involved in the creation of the freestyle. So if I were you, just like find a situation where you're around someone else. Maybe you got a girlfriend, maybe you got a roommate, and then just like be like, hey, is it cool if I freestyle for you? And then make it about the situation, because you know, and you can still have all that material in there about girls, cars, you know. Obviously I started laughing so hard on playing with the pussy, but the so you can still have all those things in there, but you got to have these lines that keep us in the moment in between. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sure. So does that help you?
Yeah, it does. I feel like maybe I'm when I'm trying to like do that for myself, I might. Actually, I don't know what will happen, but I'm just not sure what walls or what doors will already be open and what walls will be there when I try to figure out this like forming.
This is and so like I know what you mean, but it's like, dog, you got to give yourself more credit right now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever taught another student. Well, okay, first, I know I've never taught a student who's just be like, well, I don't have any songs recorded, let me just freestyle. So that's true. And I doubt any of my other, people I've met with before could just bust off a freestyle like that. So it's like, dog, it's clear you know how to rhyme.
Yeah.
It's clear you have interesting things to say. It's clear you've got a good delivery. So it's like, now we want to move forward. You just don't want to keep being good at that for the rest of your life, do you? It's like shit. Once LeBron knew how he could dunk, he wasn't like, well, I don't need a 3-pointer anymore. It's like, well, free throws don't matter. And so it's like I want to show you something which might help a little bit with this problem. It's a Mos Def freestyle.
Yeah, I think even just you saying it and having that as an awareness is going to help a lot. And it will, continue to shape it.
Yeah, and it's also like when I talk about giving yourself more credit, one of the things is like, dog, as rappers and as artists more generally, one of our jobs is to put the crowd, the listeners, in their place. To just be like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know rap. You don't know freestyle. So let me show you what freestyling is. And I think this kind of confidence, this separation, that, this slightly antagonistic relationship with your audience will make it clear just how much power you have. And then you start to take more rhythmic, more musically daring decisions, and it will start to give that shape to the verse and be, more memorable. Not that it wasn't good, but just be more memorable. Like the greatest freestylers of all time, like they used to have the battles and stuff. It's like you gotta like slow down. You kind of gotta get in their face a little and be like, you gotta communicate like, I know what I'm doing and you're gonna fucking watch me do it. And then, it's why, like, Steph Curry, after he strokes a 3, he turns to the crowd to be like, when he's away, to just be like, watch me. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you think. But I am the performer, so watch me tell you about this thing. Because everyone kind of thinks they know what it is now with blogging. And Mos Def does a really good job with this. So it's like, it's playing the crowd. Let me put it that way. If I could sum it up in 3 words, play the crowd. Play on their expectations, play on their their hopes, their dreams, their regrets, what they know. Because like I keep expecting you to keep freestyling, so all of a sudden if you were like yeah, you thought I was gonna keep going or whatever, then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I feel like an asshole. Because I thought I could predict what he was doing, but I was here and he was up here. You know what I'm saying? And so Mos Def has this really nice, and it's super clear. I sent it to you. It's super clear to me that Mos Def has the crowd in the palm of his hands, because Mos Def during these moments is thinking to himself, I know I have forgotten more about rap than anyone else here will ever know in their life. And you can hear this in his pauses and in his rhythm. So let's just listen real quick. You'll be able to hear it. 1 sec.
Skin I be standing 5'10", I be rocking it when I be in your vicinity. Whole style synergy, recognize symmetry. Come to the engine me, broke them down chemically. Ain't the number 10 MC, talking about how when I be styled it like Kennedy, late like a 10 to 3. When I say when I be, girls say when I key, cause this lieutenant be working way out like Tennessee.
Like right there.
To a place called the BK without pause or delay. Get run like pen relay. Don't deal what he say, she say. Ain't working for no cheap pay. The Mos Def beat play. This what the streets say. Hey, Mr. DJ, play that double Mogan. That jam got me open. This side of break it broken. From front side, the side, middle, the back. Never the whack. I come from Bad Style Black. From Louis ABE to be exact. Brooklyn.
See? You see at the end how he was just like, well, that's the freestyle. Brooklyn. Like, he could have ended it awkwardly and just been like, da-da-da, Brooklyn, but he knew. He was just like, nope, that's it. And so let's back up a little bit to when he changes the rhyme scheme.
Hey, Mr. DJ, play that double Mogan. That jam got me open. This side of break it broken. From front side, the side, middle, the back. Never
Right
the
there.
whack. I come from Bad Style Black. From Louis ABE to
So, let's just say like the opening, he's got these long 3-syllable rhymes, Kennedy, 10 to 3, that are awesome, that are killer. And it kind of sounds like that might be recited. But I know it's freestyle because of right there. because all of a sudden there's like a fraction. It's got to be like a 0.0001 second hesitation on his part.
Decided to break it broke, Jay. Play that Devil Mogan, that jam got me open. Decided to break it broken from front, side to side, middle to back. Never
You know,
the
he changes it.
whack.
It's not broken anymore. He goes front, back, side to side, never the whack, da black. And he's thinking like, you know what? My B-list rhymes are better than anything these people have ever seen. So I'm just going to play it out until the natural end of the freestyle. Right? And so let's do it again.
Devil Mogan, that jam got me open. Decided to break it broken from front, side to side, middle to back. Never
You know,
the whack.
there should really be another rhyme on broken there, right? Because it's traditional to do 2 or 4 rhymes on the same thing. Especially, you know, this is a real old freestyle. And so then all of a sudden, he could have had a crisis of confidence. He could have been like, ah, shit, I fucked that up. But he wasn't. He just kept going until he landed on a good rhyming word, black, back, all of those, and then ended it with a killer city shout out.
From Louis AVE to be exact. Brooklyn.
Know what I mean? Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think kind of putting these things in there will help you out a lot.
Cool.
Okay? Well, yeah,
Yeah.
man. So did you want to like schedule? Could you email me to schedule another lesson then?
Yeah, definitely, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay, cool. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, I'll send this to you right now, okay?
Okay, dope.
All right, yeah, peace, man. Yeah, I got to go. I actually got my brother's birthday dinner, so.
All right, cool. Take care, man.
All right, yeah, well, you too, man. This was awesome, dog. And yeah, I can't wait to meet again. I mean, I'm also learning shit from you too.
Where you located?
I'm in Philly right now, but yeah, I'm basically in Philly. I go to school in Boston, but I'll be moving back here in like a month. Where are you at?
In San Diego.
Oh, that far out? Okay, cool. Oh, right, because you said, right, you're 3 hours behind me. Well, yeah, cool, man. Well, yeah, we'll hook it up next time, all right?
For sure.
All right, peace, dude. Have a good night. Later,
All right,
man.
too.
Later.